further ado, let me go ahead and introduce this panel. First, from Butcher Babes, we have Carla Harvey. Come on out. And from Anthrax, we have Charlie Benante. I love the little hustle coming through. And Scott Ian. All right. So how are you guys doing this morning? Did you guys have a good night at your first night on the run? All right, the mics are sufficiently beaten in. So, let me start off by saying, Sergeant from SOD is becoming an action figure. Kind of, what's that like for you guys, to become an action figure, and is it not cool?
Nothing to do with that. What?
He's a free agent. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's about time, is actually what I would say.
Awesome.
The country needs a Sergeant D action figure right now.
So let me ask you guys, how are some of the ways that you think that metal and the horror genre really cross paths, or how do you feel metal goes into the horror genre? How do you feel like that goes?
Well, if you go back to Nightmare on Elm Street 3, where they did such an amazing job using a docking song, I think that pretty much is the epitome of metal and horror crossover, because when you think metal, you think docking. And when you think best Nightmare on Elm Street movies, you think, well, maybe not 3, maybe 5 or 6.
It doesn't.
I'm kidding. Of course the two go hand in hand, on so many levels, I think, whether it's the imagery, the attitude, the aggression, the fun, all of it.
It's something that Ozzy said, or was it Tony Iommi, that they didn't have a name for a band. This is before they named it Black Sabbath. And they chose the film named Black Sabbath. And they wanted to create music that was had that horror element to it. And if you listen to the song Black Sabbath, that's it right there. Perfect match. And I think we all took it from that too, Ever since I was a kid, I loved stupid movies like Abbott and Costello made Frankenstein, The Night of the Living Dead,
That's what we were going to call Anthrax originally. Abbott and Costello Reef. Kind of explains our band.
Metal has always had this dark imagery, much like horror movies, and I think a lot of us as kids got into metal because you would see these iconic album covers in stores that looked scary and something that you've never seen before. And that's why I remember when I was a kid, I would sit on the floor at a record store and flip through and pick out album covers that looked, demonic.
You can't sit on the
scary
floor.
to me.
You can't sit on the floor in a record store.
Well, you can't. No, you can't, because they don't exist anymore, which sucks. It's not as fun going through your Spotify list and trying to look at covers, is it?
True. No, it's only about that big, right?
But when you go to a record store and you saw like Iron Maiden, that first album cover, you couldn't help but buy that. You had to have it. Thank God.
So talk about that a little bit more, the transformation from going from the record stores to everything going on Spotify. Everybody can just...
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, that works. All right. So does anybody have any questions for some of these awesome fellows? Okay, here we go.
For Scott and Charlie, how was it working with John Carpenter with Ghost of Mars?
It was awesome. Yeah, he's a hero of ours. So when you get, that's a phone call you never expect. And when
John
you hear
Carpenter's on 3.
Yeah, when you hear the words, "Would you like to go meet John Carpenter down at the studio because he wants to talk to you about doing music for his movie?" It's like, wow, holy shit, yeah, of course. And he was amazing. We spent a week with him at Cherokee Studios in LA, and just kind of mind-blowing. It seems so far away and so long ago, like, and we hardly have any, this is pre-camera phones and stuff, so there's hardly even any photos.
I have one picture of him.
Yeah, like, I have like one photo from that whole week. It's nuts. Like, we should have filmed the whole thing.
But if there wasn't a movie or a soundtrack, it could have been a dream. It really could, but thank God there was something.
Yeah, I mean, he was super cool. I mean, besides us, obviously, making about 20-something minutes of music for the movie, we just got to sit with him and annoy the hell out of him with questions about Halloween and the thing, and on and on and on. But he was so cool. He was really cool about it the whole time. He knew we're super fanboys.
He would never say, like, who is the thing at the end of the movie? Is it Kurt Russell or is it
Keith David.
Keith David? Funny story after that was we were at a Grammy party and we walk into the party and as soon as I walk in I see Kurt Russell is over there. And it was Goldie Hawn and a group of people, but here's Goldie and a group of people, here's Kurt Russell by himself. So we immediately, we go right over to Kurt Russell, hey Kurt, what's up? And he's so awesome, and of course, the conversation went into the thing. And then he was just talking about the thing all night with us, and maybe overboard too, but I think more the thing. So during the conversation, Goldie sees us, and then she comes walking over and like to talk to Kirk. He's like, oh, hey honey, I'm with the Anthrax guys now. And Goldie goes back to her. So we talked to Kirk, boy, yeah, this is great. And then finally she came back, and then the two of them just
Wrap it up. Those guys look like trouble.
But anyway, I know who was the thing. If you want to know, I'll tell you later.
So Scott, if you don't mind, if you could talk a little bit about your time on The Walking Dead or on Game of Thrones.
Is that just talk about it?
Whatever you want to say, my friend.
Well, I got to be on The Walking Dead because I'm friends with Greg Nicotero, and I had a web series where I would go hang out with makeup artists, and so I figured, why not ask? And I said, hey, can we bring the show down to Atlanta and make me up and all that? And he was like, yeah, I'll do you one better, and you could be on the show, and I'll give you a really good death. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got to go. I got to be made up by K&B, and I got a steel pole stuck through my head by Carl. And it was, again, another completely surreal moment when I was laying down under the pile of garbage with spiders crawling up my pants, waiting to grab Rick's ankle. And it's just so weird being there with them on the set. Completely surreal. Getting to do that. Charlie and his daughter Mia actually came down when I did it and got to hang out all day.
It was awesome.
It's just kind of mind-blowing, like, to get to do things like that. I was talking to someone earlier over by our tables, and it's all because I play guitar in a metal band, but then you meet people from other worlds that you're into all the same music and the same movies and the same comics and the same books. And, Greg Nicotero he's a metalhead from way back, and we met a million years ago, and we've always been friends since. So you meet people like that, and then all of a sudden they're the guy running The Walking Dead. So you get to do something like that. Same with Game of Thrones. Dan Weiss, one of the showrunners, is an old school metalhead. Has been coming to Anthrax shows since the late '80s in Chicago, and so through meeting him and becoming friends with him, I got to do that, and so. It's just cool that there's metalheads all over the world in weird positions in life that, well, hopefully, someday I'll get to exploit.
One of the stupidest things that happened during that thing, and it's my stupidity, but we're at lunch, so all of the special effects and makeup artists were there, and we're talking about things, and Nicotero's talking, and I said, yeah, there was this one scene that you guys did, it reminded me of, did you ever see the movie The Thing? And they all looked at me like, really, we've never seen The Thing before? This is what we did. So I was like, I'm gonna leave now. Thank you. But anyway, it was a moment.
All right, does anybody have any questions? Just stick your hand up. I'm more than happy to come around over to you.
Oh, one other thing about that. I noticed quickly on the set that everybody treats the walkers really well because they, in a way, they work harder than everyone else because they have to sit and get made up and then they have to wear all that crap for hours and hours and hours in the heat. And so I got to stand and watch the rehearsal with Rick and Carl, Andrew, and Chandler when in the scene where they're standing, a bunch of walkers come out of the woods and they fight these walkers off and then eventually it gets to me. But when they were rehearsing the fight scene over and over and over again, every time the walkers would be on the floor, Andrew Lincoln would like help them up. And, you okay? You need a water? And so one of the guys from K&B told me, he goes, yeah, man, he goes, everybody just really, really takes care of the walkers all the time, which I thought was a really cool thing.
So I'm a big fan of all of you guys, and I have a lot of questions for you guys, but consider we're at a horror convention, I just want to ask if you could recreate a soundtrack to a horror movie with any of your music, what horror movie would it be?
The Exorcist.
Does Star Wars count? The Imperial March is always something that I thought we could have done. Not better, but a little more aggression, you know. We would have killed them. Jaws.
My band has a ton of horror-themed songs. Since the beginning, Heidi and I would write songs. We would research different serial killers that we loved, different stories of gruesome murders, and write songs based on that. From our first album, we have a song called Grim Sleeper, which is about the Grim Sleeper killer who was in LA. But it's a great song because it has a call and response between the killer and the victim. So you have the killer screaming and the victim singing. So I think it would be cool to have that in some kind of killing scene. Maybe Texas Chainsaw Massacre is my favorite horror movie of all time. I love the chase scene where he's chasing after with a chainsaw, the big scene, and I think that would be a perfect song for that.
The Jaws theme would be something really fun to do.
Just 2 notes.
Yeah.
Well, this question's for Carla Harvey. I've noticed you've also done comic books and novels, and I was wondering if you could talk a little about that. Are they like horror themed or?
Yeah, actually they are. So I've been in love with comic books and writing since I was a kid. That's the only thing I ever loved really was comic books and metal. So I got, when we started touring, I knew that I needed to kind of do something else on the side to be able to survive because touring is not like it used to be. So I started writing again and I wrote 2 comic book series. One is about my band, it's called Butcher Babies. And it's basically kind of a backstory on, this story about us being these orphaned girls that are serial killer hunters. It's a pretty cool story. You can find them still on eBay. I hope to write more of those. And I also have a blaxploitation horror comic called Soul Sucka, which is about a half-breed vampire. And it's a really fun series, and the second one is coming out really, really soon. So I hope to do more comics. Again, they're my second love after metal.
So you talk a little bit about the makeup process and getting it all put on. What, for you, since it was kind of more elaborate, you were going through a kill scene and everything, what was the timing like? How long were you in your makeup chair? I know you didn't do makeup for hours.
On Walking Dead?
Yes.
It was like 4 hours makeup, and I kind of left it on a little bit longer. I walked around with it for a while. I've done stuff in LA with Greg or other guys before where I've actually gone home in full makeup, driving my car, and getting a lot of weird looks. 4 hours of makeup, and then it takes about 5 minutes to get off. It's weird.
It started at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, we had to start a real early call that day.
I do the same thing before every show.
I'll be honest.
The one funny thing about that is, say, Nick Cotero did this thing where there's a saying they have, they said, no mummy leg. What the hell's mummy leg? Yeah, and usually people, when they become zombies, they get dressed up, like, that's the first thing they think, that that's how they should walk. It's like, no.
And Frankenstein, that's like, that's Walker 101. If, like when they have extras and they put them through kind of the paces that what they're going to be doing in the background, and they said there's always the dude. Put your hands down.
No mommy leg.
Yeah, when I used to do haunted houses, there was nothing like we go through the drive-thru at Taco Bell at the end of the night and get that first look at your full makeup and they're like, oh, okay, must have let out.
I just did it hasn't been on yet. I think it's going to air in October. There's some new CBS show coming out called Evil, and it's got Luke Cage, that guy Mike Coulter's in it, and Michael Emerson from Lost is in it. And I have no idea what the show's about, if it's any good at all, but my friend Joel Harlow is doing the makeup on the show, and he had me come in and get made up as this, what we had done before was a Jack the Ripper makeup, and I was called the Butcher, and I'm in a bathroom in a house, and I'm decapitating some woman and then scaring the crap out of a bunch of 9-year-old girls where they come into the bathroom. I have no idea what even the context is, other than I got to stand in the set and scare the crap out of a bunch of little girls for a couple hours. So I'm looking forward to see how that turns out.
So the final question is, what are your upcoming plans or anything coming out or going to be on anything that you can talk about at this time?
Well, we're all gonna be at our booths.
You guys definitely go check them out.
Come and have coffee, do all that. No, but we have, what do we do?
Play Chicago next weekend at Riot Fest.
And then, is anybody going on this cruise?
The mega cruise is coming up in October.
Nobody's going?
I'm going.
I guess I have to. And then we're still working on a new record. It's called Dawn of the Dead. No, I'm kidding.
It'll be out next year, probably.
Yeah, go to your local record stores.
Our new record is also coming out next year, so get excited for that. It's awesome. It's been a while in the making because we were going through some big changes, as some of you know. But they're all great changes, and we're really excited for the future. So early next year.
Change is good. We all change our shoes, we change our underwear, yeah. Well, come to the booth and say hi to us.
Come say hello. We love chatting with you guys and taking pictures and everything. And we've all got some really awesome exclusive stuff here for you guys. So come visit us.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys do go out and check them out. Let's give them a nice big round of applause, guys.
Thank you.